From the beginning of time, human error has plagued society. It has been a factor in multiple facets of life, from surgery to the battlefield. Human error results in hundreds of thousands of deaths annually.
According to a recent study done by researchers at Johns Hopkins University, medical human error has contributed to over 250,000 deaths annually in the United States, making it the third leading cause of death after heart disease and cancer.
Inefficiency is handicapping many global and national processes due to human error. In fact, most accidents that occur worldwide are attributed to human error. And although error itself is inevitable, its reduction is still possible.
This idea begs the question, will the integration of artificial intelligence into society be beneficial to the efficiency of human affairs? Artificial intelligence is forthcoming, and so is its implementation. But the question is, what is the best way we can use these technological innovations to maximize their benefits? There are two ways in which AI could be used to reduce human inefficiency: full integration and partial integration.
The first is to fully replace humans in hazardous situations with artificial intelligence. In the full integration scenario, artificial intelligence would be completely autonomous without any human supervision. This would result in the risk of human error and the loss of human life to be virtually eliminated. Full integration is already being considered in many military scenarios due to its tremendous benefits. According to War at Hyperspeed Military Robotics, an article in the journal The Economist, autonomous uninhabited vehicles, whether in the air, on the ground, or under the sea, offer many advantages over their manned equivalents. Apart from saving money on staff, they can often be bolder or more persistent because they do not get tired, frightened, bored, or angry. They will also likely be cheaper and smaller than manned versions because they do not have to protect people from enemy attack, so they can be deployed in greater numbers and in more dangerous situations.
However, the benefits of full integration are not limited to the military. The benefits include minimal risk to human life because humans in dangerous environments will be replaced, eradication of human error because now humans don't have the opportunity to make careless mistakes, increased efficiency because the human mind cannot operate as fast as an algorithm, and lastly, the possibility of unimaginable exploration due to the fact that the human body has its limitations.
Though there are many benefits to the full integration of artificial intelligence, quite a few complications still arise. Firstly, robots do not have the moral capacity to make life or death judgments. Many people are troubled by the idea that a robot with no human morality could be put into a position where it could make a decision, such as saving someone's life or taking someone's life. Alex Leveringhouse, a political philosopher and ethicist who specializes in war, says that if artificial intelligence is implemented into war, a distinctive human aspect would be removed from the act of killing. Secondly, by replacing primarily human occupations with artificial intelligence, we run the risk of widespread unemployment. And finally, artificial intelligence can be racist. Sarah Valentine, a law professor at the City University of New York, finds that since police officers primarily arrest minorities for drug crimes, artificial intelligence could correlate drug crimes with minorities, despite the fact that all races use drugs in relatively similar rates.
Partial integration involves artificial intelligence aid, not control. While the implementation of fully autonomous robots may be slightly more efficient, it also provides more potential dangers. Through the use of partial integration, all the actions of artificial intelligence would be completely monitored. For example, according to Kenneth Anderson and Matthew Waxman, who are members of the Hoover Institution's Task Force on National Security and Law, defense systems on modern U.S. naval vessels have long been able to target incoming missiles automatically, with humans monitoring the system's operations, because human decision-making processes are too slow to deal with multiple high-speed inbound missiles. The use of partial integration allows for defense systems to be more effective. Another example of successful robot aid is in space exploration. According to scientists Martin Braddock and Matthew Williams, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, and the European Space Agency are looking to AI for assistance with data collection, data analysis, mission planning, guidance, and research target selection. Once again, the enhanced abilities of AI would provide new possibilities.
A current example of the effective use of partial integration is found at Blue Dot. Blue Dot was able to identify the recent coronavirus outbreak in central China by tracking and moving information faster than the disease itself could travel. This led to them being able to predict where outside mainland China the disease would spread, including Bangkok, Seoul, Taipei, and Tokyo. It was able to predict these locations by sifting through massive amounts of data points from around the world in order to identify, locate, and diagnose people that may have contracted the virus. After the artificial intelligence had diagnosed its patient, epidemiologists then reviewed the data in order to effectively convey the information to the public. In other words, AI provided a timely warning regarding the virus that potentially saved many lives.
Partial integration will provide minimal risk to human life, eradication of human error, increased efficiency, exploration possibilities, and lastly and most importantly, human oversight. According to Aviva Rutkin, who studied neuroscience at Union College and science writing at MIT, the partial integration of artificial intelligence is a partnership. The machine makes a recommendation, then the human gets involved. Now these pros might seem familiar, and they should, because they are identical to the pros of full integration minus one addition. Though partial integration has all of the benefits of full integration, the key factor that sets this apart is that artificial intelligence would be overseen by humans, furthermore minimizing the risks brought about by full autonomy.
Though partial integration has a vast amount of benefits, a few complications still exist. To begin with, there is no accountability for artificial intelligence. It is unclear who would be reprimanded if and when artificial intelligence fails. As said by Noel Sharkey, professor of AI and robotics, a robot does not have agency, moral or otherwise, and thus cannot be held accountable for its actions. Moreover, if a robot were used in limited circumstances, in the belief that it could operate with human discretion, it would be difficult to determine who was responsible for such mishaps. Some would say the person who gave the order to send the robot on a mission would be responsible, but that would not be fair since it could be the fault of the person who programmed the mission, the manufacturer who made the robot, or the senior staff or policymakers who decided to deploy it. As of now, the situation is at a stalemate because no one is willing to take the blame for an autonomous robot. Secondly, there is a negative connotation associated with living robots because of social prejudices. There is likely not enough public support because of distrust.
Some limitations to our solution involve the ethics surrounding partial integration and the costs associated with the solution. The ethical dilemma includes a lack of accountability of robots due to their inability to feel emotion or repercussions for their wrongs. Another barrier would be the cost associated with partial integration. Widespread integration of artificial intelligence into the daily American lifestyle would undoubtedly have tremendous costs.
The main implication of the partial integration of artificial intelligence is the ability to save time. With robots aiding humans in the workforce, there will be so much more time for other tasks throughout the day. Because of all the benefits of partial integration, our proposed solution, the partial integration of AI, should be implemented for the betterment of mankind. Thank you.
Okay, Ash, how did the group decide to include Graham's perspective, lens, or conclusions into the overall presentation?
We included Graham's perspective in determining which solution would be our proposed solution, either full or partial integration. In Graham's research, he talks about how human oversight is necessary in the medical field because it will help with the efficiency of medical processes such as diagnosis and procedures. And so with this knowledge in mind, we were able to help in determining that partial integration would be superior to full integration.
George, give one specific way that your thinking changed as a result of learning about Ash's findings.
After learning about Ash's findings, my thinking changed because originally I believed that full integration was the best way to go. However, learning about Ash's research, he found a lot in his evidence that showed that human oversight is necessary in the military field, especially with AI, because it keeps people accountable for the AI's actions. Because if AI is allowed to act unimpeded, it can cause unnecessary deaths of civilians because it does not have the ability to differentiate between enemy combatants and civilians themselves. So after learning about that, I realized that partial integration was the best solution.
Vincent, reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem your group identified?
Reflecting on my colleague's work, I think that Graham's research probably had the most effect on my understanding of our research, just because he had some information on the partial integration of artificial intelligence in the medical field, and he made me realize that human oversight is a big part of this. And because my individual research was about full integration of artificial intelligence in deep sea exploration, he made me realize that in some earthly and terrestrial environments, partial integration will be beneficial.
Okay, Graham, what is an example of a compelling argument from one of your peers' individual reports that you decided to exclude from your team presentation, and why?
One of Vincent's main arguments was about the costs associated with integration of AI into ocean exploration. But because this topic was not broad enough to fit into our main question, we decided not to include it.
And Sebastian, what was the strongest counter argument to the solution or conclusion your team identified, and why?
I would say that the strongest counter argument to our solution would probably be the full implementation of artificial intelligence. However, we've identified that the clearer benefits of partial integration, mainly because in Vincent and George's work, they discussed how we can use it for exploration in instances where humans aren't involved. But since we wanted to apply this to a broader scale, and especially situations in which humans are involved, and for example, Ash and Graham's work, Ash about the military and how humans need to oversee what the robots are doing, and Graham talked about how humans need to oversee what robots identify in medical diagnoses. We just decided that partial integration is still superior because it's always good to have that human aspect, which full integration did not have.